Well, hi, you guys. How are you?
Hey, I'm so rested. I don't know about you ladies, but it's a beautiful day.
Wow, that sounds good.
You
Did
sound
you
like a
have a good
self-help
sleep or
tape.
something? Yeah.
I sound like what?
A self-help tape.
Well, I went to the cottage for the whole weekend. So I would feel after a whole weekend of nautical skiing, food, and booze,
Very nice.
and a lot of sunshine.
Oh, we
The
have
That's
been
weather.
not where I
enjoying some
thought you were
really great
going.
weather.
This is sorry to brag, but I had the best weekend ever.
And this is one great weekend ahead of probably another one, and then ahead of a few, because before we start our trip back into our favorite decade, we want to mention that we will be off for some summer vacations. So we've got this show, we're going to do another one after this one, and then we'll be off for a bit of a break and come back refreshed to take on yet another season of 90s Now. So heads up, we'll probably have a 10.
Or in my case, I'll look like the Canadian flag, white and red.
Kelly will be wondering, does she ever step outside?
Yeah. I have two colors, white and red. Say two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. We have some fun stuff to tackle today, which is great because we're going to tell you which super chill actor has actually got a couple of projects on the go, which would be kind of contrary to the super chill nature of this dude, but some cool ones. So we'll talk about those. We're also going to talk about what happens after the slap heard round the world. Kelly's trivia, of course, will be a wonderful challenge once again, and a 90s rewind that'll take us back to the summer of, I can't remember, 1990. My gosh, was it 93? I think.
That's
Like
in the 90s.
That sounds good.
Yeah, well, it's probably accurate.
Yeah.
And by probably accurate, I mean, yes, it's 1993.
Okay.
Whoa. That's an indication of how much rest I got this weekend. So that's,
Yeah.
again, in contrast to what Adam has enjoyed. So,
Uh,
yeah, the other thing is the surprise nature, to me anyways, that Jennifer Lopez is now Mrs. Ben Affleck.
hmm.
Great for
Jaffleck.
business.
Who saw it
J-Fleck.
coming?
I think we all kind of saw it coming, but good for them for doing it. With Bennifer having sealed the deal this time around, we should probably start there. How about that? Kind of cool. Like the idea that J-Lo might be J-Fleck moving forward. I think it
It's
just
always
gives
J-Lo
people
time.
online something to talk about. There's certainly nothing that's going to change as far as official documentation when it comes to her business dealings and things like that.
Yep.
That would, I think, would be too much of an undertaking. So she will always be Jennifer Lopez or J-Lo. But the idea that in Lovebird scenario that they've refound themselves in a place where in both of their lives as individuals coming together made even more sense this time. So good for them.
I will reiterate that out of all of her exes, I did not see this coming. Like out of all of the exes that she has, I did not think there would be a return to Bennifer. I just like, and obviously it's been going great for over a year now. I guess it's 14 months they've been back together, something like that. And so, obviously very happy for them. But again, out of all of her exes, this was not my choice. In the fact that I just figured like that ship had sailed. And I think somewhere, and obviously I don't know these people personally, you know what I mean? So that this explains a lot of it. But there's a part of me that just, I guess I was like, I never quite understood them to begin with. Like back in 2003. And so, yeah, it's interesting that it's come full circle. So we'll see.
It's a classic Hollywood move too, which is interesting. That almost 20 years later, they're back together. 20 years ago, I think they were both in obviously different places in their lives. I think she was probably more on track to arrive at where she is today professionally. She seems solid. She always has. She has a focus on how she's going to get there and what she's going to do to get there. He hit a few bumps along the road, but also, helped raise his family with his now ex-wife, Jennifer Garner. They have 3 kids together. A couple of the kids, I think, are in the same age group as J-Lo's kids, which is nice that they have each other to bounce off of, which is great. And I think like any situation, you go back 20 years in anybody's life and it's like, oh yeah, I wasn't ready for that at all. 20 years later, you've got this like collected wisdom and experience in life, and you at least I think you at least know what you want, and certainly what you don't want. And I think that's probably as a big a factor as knowing what you want. Knowing what you don't want or what you won't accept, I think is huge. And I think she is the kind of person that knows that. And I think he, for his challenges and rising above and growing up, I think has come to a safe place too.
Yeah, I'm very happy for them. And here's the funny thing. I knew we were obviously talking about this today. And so I'd read a couple of the stories, and this morning I was out on the tractor, not joking, and twirling around the fields, doing my little farmer stuff. And I actually had deep thoughts about Jennifer and Ben Affleck. Like, I had thoughts about, I'm like, would they want a kid? Like, so, because obviously they're so excited to have love again. So I'm like, would they hire a surrogate? I'm wondering, because obviously, like, she's 51 now, I guess. And soon to be 52, I think, because her birthday's at the end of the month. So I actually had that thought. I'm like, would they do that? Like, even though I know they have their kids and they're probably happy, but I'm like, knowing that they, because I'm on her newsletter. Which is called, there's like a name to it. It's like J-Lo something. Anyways, I signed up for it because she only puts certain things on that. Like, she won't put it on Instagram. You have to read her newsletter first. She's very savvy. Like, her team's very savvy. And so that's where I actually saw the pictures first from the wedding chapel, because she put it there as opposed to her Instagram account.
Right.
So I read all this stuff, and I think just the way that note was crafted, it really made it sound like, obviously, again, they're super happy to be together. And that's why the kid thing came in. I'm like, would they want to have a kid with them and them together? You know what I mean? Like, we'll see. So I had that pondering. And then I also pondered the J Fleck thing, and I'm not behind it. Like, it has to be J-Lo. Like, just J-Lo, J Fleck. Nope, not happening.
No.
And so I had that thought. And then I actually had thoughts too about their wedding, and the fact that it was surprising, because I would have thought they would have had a massive wedding, because of, again, finding their love again 20 years later and all that. And they are supposed to have a big party. That's the rumor in Georgia. But, but I give them superstar credit for just going to Vegas like every other couple who wants to have an experience and an adventure. And they did it that way. So they surprised me. Way to go, J-Flo.
And for more details about Jennifer Lopez's life, on thejlo.com.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah.
Which he might have to change to onthejfleck.com, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, I don't see her making any changes like that. And again, I think the making like an alteration like a J Fleck or bringing that element in, I think, is all media wanting to jump on that and coming up with the cool handle before anybody else. But
one other thought I had, Sharon, before you move on, because you brought up their kids, that was another thought. I swear to God, I had this thought on the tractor, because like you mentioned, their kids' ages are, I think, fairly similar or relative.
Yep.
But it made me think back to when they had been such a big family with A-Rod's kids, like they were inseparable, those, because her two and his two, the four of them. And I actually had that thought. I'm like, I wonder if they're still in contact at all with his girls, because they were like siblings, and then all of a sudden it's over. And again, I'm very grateful that they've been able to integrate so well, I think, with Ben's kids. But yeah, like, you wonder, like, they've had some upheaval for sure, her kids.
Oh, for sure. And you think of like the difference between marriages and those relationships when they break up and what happens to the kids. I think in 2022, you have access to social media and kids could be communicating on their own. 20 years ago, it would have been like every other decade before that, which was, oh, well, we'll miss them. Maybe we'll see them again one day, or, whatever story made the kids feel better, but it wasn't a priority to necessarily have the kids relationships with the other kids be something to think about. But certainly they can take care of themselves now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You know what's shocking out of all of this? My thought process on all of this, that I took time on my tractor to contemplate all of these scenarios.
What else is there to do on the tractor?
Yeah. Concentrate on tractoring. How about that?
Pardon, Sharon?
Concentrate on tractoring.
Yeah,
she could have been doing that. I would love to see the pattern on whatever you were doing. I would love to be given an aerial view.
L-O.
Yeah.
J-Lo.
And then like the shape of a boom, like mic drop, boom,
mic drop.
Well, from our humble 90s now, we wish Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck all the happiness they can find.
Yeah.
And now back to battle.
Yeah.
Let's get into some trivia.
90s. Now, trivia.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
To the bing to the bong.
So I'm going to try to make
Bong,
you use those brain cells in the 2 shows before we take our summer hiatus.
So
So-
this will be an indication of that we need the vacation. right?
Exactly.
Woo.
I'm not exactly, well, I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to be confident for you too on this question.
Well, at least it's
So-
fair this time. You're usually only confident for Adam. So go ahead.
Yeah. So this is under news and politics.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So in 1992, when Adam was negative 2 years old,
Yeah.
Australia's Prime Minister, Paul Keating, put his arm around who?
Sharon,
Go, Sharon.
Jerry Halliwell. Why
Good
not?
guess, but no.
Why not? Only because they weren't a group before.
Yeah.
Until 5 years later.
So
Can I-
Adam, don't guess the Spice Girl based off of that answer.
No, I was gonna say Michael Jackson.
Oh, that's a great guess, but no. This is
Can we
because
get some guesses.
no,
What
Yeah.
area? What area of
How about give us their initials?
QE2.
Kiwi 2?
QE2.
Oh, the Queen,
Yeah,
Elizabeth II.
exactly.
He put his
Yeah.
arm around her. That's
Yeah, so that was
nervy.
obviously a big faux pas, right?
Wow.
What'd she do? Give him a,
Hiya!
an elbow in the rib? No.
Imagine,
Pardon
she didn't
me.
have her cane at that juncture, but she would have given a swift hit to the knee. That would have been great.
Yikes.
How old was the Queen in 92?
That would have been 20 years ago. 30 years ago.
30 years ago. So she's 96 now, I think.
Shoot, well into her 60s.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I can't imagine anyone going, hi.
Queenie,
How
give
you
us a
doing?
hug.
Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh.
So question number 2. Hold on, I just want to make sure. All right. Which collectible 90s toy had kids flicking plastic molded monsters at each other? And for the record, I'd never heard of this game.
Oh, good. I can't wait to not answer it.
Yeah.
Sharon,
Go, Sharon.
Pong. Pogs.
Good.
Not Pong, Pogs.
No.
Oh,
Adam?
well, see?
I have no idea.
Yeah. And let me know if either of you have heard of this. Go-Go's Crazy Bones.
No.
Never heard of it.
I would
Was
like
that
to
in the
dispute that
States?
question. Take it up with the Bureau of Questions.
You mean the cards that I get from
Yeah, throw that
that I
card away.
bought from, I think I bought it from Winners, these cards. Yeah.
The corner store.
Which is what, is that Marshall's again in the States? What is it? No, it's TJ.
Yep.
Yeah,
Winners
Marshall's.
is Marshalls. Yep.
I would like to
Well-
mention before we move on that I don't think out of any question that we do for trivia with regards to games from the 90s, I know none of them.
No, me neither.
And I don't know if it's
They're-
because I
they're
was in
oddly
my teens.
specific.
I know it's because I was in the clubs.
Right. Yeah.
That's what that
So
was my jam. Clubbing.
Apparently, they made a Nintendo DS version of Go-Go's Crazy Bones.
Did you know this, Adam? Because had you heard of them?
Never.
No.
I don't accept it.
Okay. Back to you, Sharon.
That's a non-question.
We
So-
learned something today.
Yeah.
and you know what? If you ask me the question again, I'd be like, I don't even know what you said.
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna quickly look because we got a message from Shane.
Yep. Oh, hey Shane.
Hey Shane.
Shane.
And
Hashtag one Prince.
he said that he wanted me to re-ask one of our trivia questions from the other week about basketball, but I can't remember.
Why would you re-ask the
Well,
question?
just for him, because I think he missed that episode. But we had
Oh.
I think Rachel referenced it, I think, on a comment on YouTube. And so I think the
Rachel.
question he wants, so Shane, this is for you. We've already answered this. We won't answer it again, but I'll ask it for you. In which year was Shaquille O'Neal the first overall pick in the NBA draft?
We asked that question.
Well, he said I asked a basketball question. That's the only one I can find as of recent. So
And he's a super coach, right?
He's a
he
super
he
coach, right?
coaches middle
Kentucky
school,
Shane?
correct? Yeah.
pardon, the Wildcats.
Yes, right.
He's not the coach of the Wildcats. I don't want to start that rumor.
Well, that you just did. And I
He'd
was
probably
going
like
with
to
it.
be the coach of the Wildcats.
You said he's
can I-
coaching the Wildcats, though. Who is he coaching?
It's
Middle
in his
school.
high school because Shane's
Oh.
high school teacher, right, or coach? Yeah. So Shane,
Well, The
Shane's
Wildcats could have been the name of the team at the school.
That's
Maybe.
true. We will learn before the end of this season what the
before you
name
move
of Shane's team is.
yeah, Shane, just tell us in the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Here's a quick funny story about basketball. A few years ago, my brother and I, I'll preface this by saying my brother and I are huge fans of the Duke Blue Devils, the college team.
Yep.
And so for his, I forget what birthday it is, I had a lady make like Duke basketballs, like with the Duke symbol and like all that stuff, right?
Cool.
And so when I was asking her to do this, she had, of course, no clue who they were, like, which is fine, whatever. So I sent her the logos, all that stuff. Anyways, somehow me asking her to do this, the rumor that then got out because she's friends with my better half. My better half found out, Elaine, that she had told all of her family, the lady who made the cakes, that my brother played for the Duke Blue Devils.
Oh, nice.
I told my brother, he was pleased as punch. He's like, I can't believe it. He's like, I always wanted to play basketball. So now like I'm on the team.
MVP.
Exactly. So that's the best rumor I think that my brother's ever had happen about him, that he plays for the Duke Blue Devils.
I like it. We won't do anything to squash that rumor either. So
Yeah.
look for his card. It's a valuable card.
Yeah. If you can find it.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yep.
We talked about the super chill actor who's actually keeping quite busy in Hollywoody Harrelson. See what I did there?
Love
Woody Harrelson has to be one of the chillest cats out there, man. But to keep the contrast going, the idea that he's A, quite busy, and B, one of the projects that he's working on is about one of the chillest genres of music out there, yacht rock.
Mhm.
Yacht rock. If you were to check any of your, wherever you stream your music, of course, you're going to find playlists of yacht rock that I think more often than not would describe your parents' music, when it brings musical examples from like the Eagles or, whatever bands from the 70s. I think now it's even safe to add to those lists songs that just kind of keep a chill vibe. But what Woody Harrelson is working on is a movie, or rather a musical, that tracks the beginnings of yacht rock. So it's by the same people that brought us Rock of Ages. No doubt it will bring, if nothing else, an insanely chill summer soundtrack with Woody Harrelson as being kind of the lead of a cast of musicians from the 70s that went on to establish what we now know and love as yacht rock. Kind of cool. I love yacht rock, man.
It's
super
funny that we
weekend.
talk about it this week because I heard that term for the first time last week. Never heard the term before.
Oh, cool.
And then twice in a single week. What are the odds?
Man, buy a lottery ticket, dude.
That's what I was thinking.
You think also like yacht rock and like is probably a sub category of dock rock, right? Because
Well,
for those of us that can't afford a yacht, we can have access to a dock probably more easily.
Right.
That works.
Yeah.
I don't have dates on that project when that musical will come, but I will totally look forward to that. The other project, a little more heady, I think. It's also musically based, rooted in Aldous Huxley's Brave New World book. That'll feature Woody Harrelson as the pilot of this symbolic plane. The project is called The Entertainment System is Down. It will be a comedy. There will be a social awareness twist to it as well. And again, probably good music. So it doesn't seem that Woody Harrelson could go wrong when he's working really hard.
It's what he does. I haven't actually heard of him doing anything as of late, right? So this sounds like he's got some projects on the way because I haven't heard of anything recently.
I would say it's pretty cool and probably in keeping with the idea that with people getting back to fill in the blank, whether it's work, whether it's back to normal or whatever, I think, he's probably happy to get into just doing something to tap into his creative juices.
Anytime anybody brings up Woody Harrelson, the first thing that comes to mind is 1992 and the Kelly, Kelly, Kelly song from Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I can't tell you how every single person that year thought they were the first person to sing that ad. like, have you heard this? And then they'd sing it at me. And I'd be like,
"Oh, no, I never heard it."
yeah.
And
So
say, I
1990
recorded it on a VHS.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
So 1992 is the year of the Kelly, Kelly, Kelly song. Yeah.
And Adam, if you are unfamiliar with the Kelly, Kelly, Kelly song,
I am unfamiliar with it.
well, there was an episode of Cheers, which was a hugely successful show that started in the 80s, wrapped, I don't
know
remember
about
what year.
I
You know
know
about Cheers.
Cheers.
Everybody knows your name. And Woody Harrelson was sort of like a, I think his character kind of came off as a bit simple,
Yep.
but he would have like, wise quotes every once in a while that were sort of startling. But he had a girlfriend on the show and he wrote her a song. And it was
Kelly.
Kelly, 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 Kelly. Why? Because it's Kelly, 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 Kelly.
That was
crazy.
the song, Adam.
That
I
was
love
the
it.
song. And everybody in that time frame is familiar with how easy that song was to sing along to.
Yeah. It's it ranks right up there with Phoebe's Smelly Cat.
Yeah,
I know that one.
it's true.
Before we move on,
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson,
Yes.
you said, "Oh, what he's doing? What is he in? One movie? I didn't hear about him. He's been featured. He has a lead role in a film called The Man from Toronto.
I did
That
not know.
just got released, I think, a few weeks back, or it's got a 5.7 rating on IMDb. So
Oh, cool.
not that great of a movie. But what's funny is I saw a trailer, and during the whole trailer, they keep saying, "Oh, the man from Toronto." And if there's something we know here in Canada is that you do not pronounce that second T.
Toronto.
Toronto, it's Toronto, right?
Toronto.
And
Toronto.
all the comments were hundreds of people asking, how on earth can you make a movie called The Man from Toronto and say The Man from Toronto everywhere in the movie? So that's where you can see Woody Harrelson lately.
Yeah.
I love the nitpick on a word pronunciation like that too. It's so regional, but
Mhm.
it strikes a chord when it strikes.
And it
Well, we
doesn't make
have a-
sense that we don't pronounce that last T. It is
Sure.
spelled Toronto.
Yes.
On our station, we have I don't think we're running it as of late. We might be, but the voice guy that does this particular commercial has to be American. And he calls it's about the theme park. So the theme park is La Ronde, right?
You're right.
La Ronde. Nope.
Yep.
Not that.
And it's funny too, like I think from our perspective of doing it, of being in this industry, we know that like someone had to okay it.
Yes.
So someone who also didn't know that that's how you not say it said, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I end up being like super nitpicky about that stuff. Like, why did they do that? And again, I bring it back to a favorite line of mine over the past few years, which is, it has to matter.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't matter to this level, I can't have it matter to me.
Yep. When I went to university, most of us, so we all went to Toronto. No, we didn't. We went to Toronto. And a lot of us were like, I was from Quebec. We had a bunch of people from Montreal and Quebec. And then there was a few from British Columbia and all this stuff. And so we were doing fake traffic reports in our radio class, like, learning how that all worked. And we were doing radio shows. So we were doing radio shows, like a full on broadcast. And so everybody had different roles. And I remember this girl who's absolutely a delight from British Columbia. She was doing traffic. And so she was like, blah, 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 blah. There's congestion in Etobicoke. And so for anyone who doesn't know, it's Etobicoke.
Silent K out of nowhere.
Silent K. But my teacher, who was an actual traffic reporter for like one of the main radio stations in Toronto, he kept harping on it for like 10 minutes. And like, and like you said, it has to matter, but she just didn't know. Like nobody had ever told her that it was pronounced Etobicoke, not Etobicoke.
Right.
But he's like, you have to understand that you need to get this right. And I'm like, down.
And it's kind of true, because there's that interesting line of saying something, mispronouncing something, then you have to be okay with someone telling you that you've mispronounced it.
Mm-hmm.
But that person has to be okay actually telling someone that they've mispronounced it, because nobody wants to be that person, because you never know how the person's going to react. Ultimately, if I'm correcting someone it's for the greater good of our
Mhm.
station.
Everybody.
But
Yeah.
nobody likes being told that they've done something wrong,
Yeah. But
especially
see,
not in
like
a way
with,
that you're describing.
but like with you, Sharon, you probably would be like, hey dude, like this is how you say it, just so you know, going for like your explanation would probably be 20 seconds or less. He
Right.
literally went on for 10 minutes, like about the importance of, and like we get it, but he was just, I think it's because that's his job every day.
For
He
sure.
couldn't, he was going bananas. He's like, it's a Tobacco, it's not Tobacoki. And he was like losing his mind. It was really, yeah. It was
Step
funny.
outside and get some fresh air, fella.
Yeah.
Away from the cars. The exhaust is getting to you. So if I were to refer to the slap heard around the world, we know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Will Smith opening his privileged hand and striking Chris Rock in the face. The unsuspecting Chris Rock, I should say. We all got to watch that on TV when it happened live. And I think ultimately Chris Rock had to be suspecting something when Will Smith approached him live on TV, on stage, shouting at him, or after shouting at him, "Keep my wife's name out your damn mouth." And that's a quote. But I don't think anybody would have thought that he would have gone up there and, smacked him.
Yeah, no.
And I don't think that there were many people also that stuck around to see what would happen afterward for the storm that would have taken over Will Smith's career. As in, they kept their professional distance, because wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, at least for a time anyways. And you know what? You don't want to be associated with something like that. That kind of behavior is completely unacceptable.
Well, especially in this day and age, right? Like people get fired before they're even proven to have done XYZ, like
Yeah.
especially in media, right? Like it's
Yep.
just like, if there's any whiff of anything, like you're gone. you
Yeah,
know?
agreed.
So that's
So
the
a lot of his stuff, Will Smith's projects, were put on hold, shelved. We're not talking about that right now, that kind of stuff. But there's been a glimmer of hope from an old friend and co-star, Martin Lawrence, who has recently shared that they will be doing, or that they will always be, Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of good news, I'm sure, for Will Smith, knowing that there will be it's Bad Boys 4, right?
This would be Bad Boys 4. Yep.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. But I liked his explanation, Martin, saying that back in the day when he was going through a bad time, Eddie Murphy stuck by his side.
Yeah.
So he wants to pay it forward, which I have great respect for, because
Mhm.
Will Smith is coming back. There is absolutely zero question. He's going away for a while for this to all die down and for him to work on himself, or whatever the PR line will be. And hopefully
Yeah.
he is working on himself for real. But he'll be back, right? And then everybody will be on the Will Smith bandwagon again, which is, fine or not fine, depending on who you are. But
Mhm.
but I appreciate Martin knowing what he went through. He's putting his neck out, for his buddy.
For sure. And it is, you know what? It's not to say that Will Smith isn't entitled to his friendships.
Mhm.
And yet at the same time, you can't be surprised that any professional relationship would want to distance themselves from that kind of behavior until there's some clarity as to, how he would move forward. And I think at the very least, there would be some kind of an apology. And yet I am not deserving of that apology. Like, I don't need to witness it. Yet at the same time, I didn't need to witness that slap on, the Fun Awards show that I was watching that night,
Mhm.
So it's an interesting position to be in. But
Yeah.
either way, Bad Boys was a fun franchise. So it will be nice to see those two guys
Great movie. Yeah.
maybe get their thing back together. Now, are you ready for this trip back to, I'm sure it's 1993, even though I wasn't sure at the beginning of this show?
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Summertime 1993. All right. Now, if we were to look at summertime 2022, Elvis is definitely a part of the summer of 2022, thanks to that new Baz Luhrmann film, Elvis. Back in the summer of 1993, Elvis had still been long gone by that point, to the tune of 26 years, right? 77, 87, 97, less than 20 years. I can't
60.
do math all of a sudden. 15 years, right? UB40 brought some Elvis vibes with their cover of Can't Help Falling in Love. Cool
That was such a
reggae
great song. Their version.
Yeah.
Mm.
So just summer, just a super
And
chill
so
vibe.
1993.
Totally 1993.
Like if you hear that, you're like, oh, 1993.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
So that was a great cover. Speaking of covers, though, Rod Stewart covered Van Morrison's classic Have I Told You Lately?
Oh, yes. Mhm.
And that was on his Unplugged album, and the performance that was featured on VH1 at that time. That should have been our warning at that point that Rod Stewart would be just doing covers forever.
Yeah.
'Cause really, he's taken on all the, classics and the songbooks and the whatever.
Next will be
Uh,
the telephone book, Sharon, if it's
Next
not on.
will be The Yellow Pages,
Yeah.
Volume 1. Uh, so the difference between Tag Team and 95 South came down to Whoop and Woot. Whoop, There It Is was a hit for Atlanta's Tag Team, and Jacksonville, Florida's 95 South had theirs with Woot, There It Is. Both songs enjoying some time on our radios or Walkmans or portable CD players back in 1993. And could we get away from a 90s rewind at that time and not mention Janet Jackson?
We cannot.
Can you imagine the open face slap that I would receive from Kelly Alexander? Though I would have suspected it. Janet Jackson couldn't have oozed hot summer vibes more if she tried on That's the Way Love Goes. It was hot like the AC's broken.
Right.
That kind of hot, sort of uncomfortable, but yeah, at the same time. So thank you, Janet Jackson. And how about this for a contrast to any of what I've said so far? The twins that are featured in The Proclaimers hit the right spot that summer with I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles.
Great.
And I'll leave that as your earworm.
It's there.
Yeah.
Station I
Thank
work
you,
for
Adam. He's in.
played that a gajillion times.
Oh my
that whole
gosh, no
summer.
kidding.
Yeah. Oh, and
Whoa.
I should mention too a little cross promotion here for the Kelly Alexander show. By the time you're watching this, it will be up on our YouTube channel, but we are actually doing a live stream with Tina Landon.
Ooh.
So again, by the time you're watching it, it has been done, but you can check it out on the YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Kelly Alexander show. And we're super excited to have Tina on talking about our new show, Just Dance. And also she just won a very important award in Florida. She got at like a dance convention. She
Cool.
won an award for her influence in the world of dance.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Bravo.
Love it.
It's obviously so well deserved, and I think it's probably just the tipping point to the continued flow of very well deserved recognition.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is so we announced on her Instagram just this past week about the show, that we're doing this Just Dance thing, and I almost fell over when I saw a comment on her Instagram from his name is Brian Nicholson. And he is one of the top choreographers today. He is like this tight with Ariana Grande.
Wow.
And I love, like, he actually wrote, he's like, this is amazing. Like, let's go. Like, and so to see, top choreographers today still paying, like, knowing that it's important to pay respect to Tina, who influenced them. It was like really cool. And then this other dancer who currently dances for Christina Aguilera and has danced for Jennifer Lopez, he wrote also, like, super excited to know about the show. And that's really cool, knowing that these guys who are dancing with A-list people are writing messages to Tina.
Well, you think also, like, when people get honored and paid respect or given a compliment, even something smaller like that, you think of like the classics, and you think of like the people that paved the way, and you end up like realizing that a lot of the dance moves that you tried to replicate as a young person in this frame were hers.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you think of like, the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. That's like a really great go-to because it's classic and it's that many years old. But Tina Landon, I think, has her spot in history. And I think if like I said, I think it's going to be a cascade of great news coming her way. So good for her, and good for you for working with her and bringing that to the peeps.
Thank you. I'm very excited. Hopefully you'll be able to tune in, Sharon.
I think I've got to pay for it, and I'm prepared to do it.
The live stream, you don't have to pay for it. It's free.
What?
Yeah.
Free?
The live stream is free. You do have to pay for a subscription if you want to join Just Dance, but if you want to just watch the live stream, I should say.
With my subscription to Just Dance, will there be any instruction to help me just dance?
Well, I can ask Tina to.
Will she want to see my dance move designed to bring happiness to the people?
I'm waiting for you to send it to her. I can hook you guys up on a text message stream here.
I only pop it out for people that need it, Kel.
Well,
And it
she
doesn't
might.
sound like she doesn't need it at this time. She's getting her accolades.
She has a sore back though this week, so maybe she could use.
All right, let me know.
You will love it if you can. You please record it? I will send it to her.
Should I do it in Crocs?
Yeah,
Because nothing says fine dancer
yeah.
like Crocs.
Nothing says Janser like Sharon.
How'd you sprain your ankle? I did the dance move designed to bring happiness to the people in Crocs. Living and learning.
Living and learning. Just like
All
I
right.
thought that CC Peniston dance move was manageable.
I say keep on trying, Kel.
Yeah, I was trying to keep on walking at that
But
point.
keep on walking, but next time wear a helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we sign off, two things. One, I want to give a shout out to our friend Carolyn Jones, who has found us as a podcast, but also on YouTube. We appreciate that very much. And if we could just together as a trio channel some positive vibes and send them her way with strength and continued resilience so that she can tackle what she's got to tackle.
We love you, CJ.
Thank you, CJ. And two, again, just a reminder that we will be taking just a few weeks off so that we can come back refreshed and be prepared to dance or whatever.
Yeah.
And that'll happen in a couple of weeks. We'll have this show, but one more after this one, and then a few weeks off so that we can all be fresh and perky, like
Fresh and perky. That's
fresh and
Adam's
perky.
little-
We'll leave it at that. Like whatever.
Don't add anything else.
No. And until then, thank you very much for finding us wherever it is that you do. Thanks to Adam, you can find us everywhere possible. And ultimately, thank you for listening to 90's Now. Still happening.